Was,
you had it right. You almost got it.
I will
You
say
almost
Kamala
did
saying
it.
2 weeks ago, days ago, when Donald Trump came out with his no taxes on tips policy, all of the headlines on mainstream media were derogatory. Kamala Harris comes out with her no taxes.
Kamala
Harris comes out. In primaries and general elections, this is my third cycle. Politics does get personal.
Is it right for him to be a misogynist? To direct commentary against...
You called him a fascist.
You
can call him whatever you want, but we can't respond.
He called himself a fascist. He said he's going to be a dictator on day one.
Right.
Well, radical left would include defunding the police, would include when you were attorney general saying that an undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. Radical left would be raising your taxes. Radical left would be the appeasement strategy against Iran. Radical left would be placating to the Hamas wing of your party and people who are anti-Semites. That is radical left, and that is who she is.
And you're in a very vulnerable position.
Talk about rerun Kamala's.
You had it right. You almost got it.
I will say Kamala's name any way that I want to.
No, but you mispronounce her and you also misjudge her.
I just did, and I'll do it again.
Mispronouncing her name.
That's a refusal to acknowledge her humanity.
If I purposely mispronounced your name, that would not be appropriate.
Policies are Joe Biden's policies. She owns it.
You're normalizing that kind of viciousness, man.
33 times.
But it's
she was the deciding vote
she was the vice
on
president
Joe Biden's bills. She was
know
33
that
times the deciding vote on Joe Biden's bills in the Senate.
She has to own them.
All right, let's talk about the latest episode of Everything is Racist, starring, you guessed it, Nancy Mace. So in a recent CNN panel, Nancy Mace made the mortal sin of mispronouncing Kamala Harris' name. Look, she genuinely stumbled, tried to correct it a couple times, but nope, that wasn't enough. The other guests just couldn't let it go. And it's like they were lying in wait, ready to pounce the moment she slipped up. Eventually, Mace hit her limits and said, I will say however I want to. And just like that, she was slapped with the label of racist. Now, come on, man. Are we really doing this? Mispronouncing someone's name is now a hate crime? What's next now? Canceling people for mispronouncing Kiona? The way they set up Mace is almost like a game, like one wrong move and boom, you're a bigot. You are a bigot. But here's the thing, are we seriously supposed to believe that every mispronunciation is rooted in racism? Studies actually suggest otherwise. According to the report from Harvard Business Review, name mispronunciation is often linked to unconscious bias and simply unfamiliarity, not malicious intent. Another study from Stanford notes that mispronunciation can even stem from linguistic differences rather than any sort of prejudice. But nah, let's keep the list out and go straight to the labels. That's pretty much the left tactics.
But when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a racist.
That is complete.
No, you don't have to intend racism to accomplish it.
You are intending that
your
I'm
disrespect
racist,
of Kamala
and
Harris
that is
part and parcel of a
tradition
tradition of disrespect.
Why can't you just, Congresswoman? Why can't you just?
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm saying what the practice is racist.
You are. You absolutely are.
Let me get in here.
No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her.
Professor.
This gentleman said, I didn't know her name. He's trying to do it.
Is her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
white women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is to tell them they're not real women.
25 years ago,
they care for your babies.
25 years ago, I became the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina. I fought my way through it.
So pronounce her name right.
Let me
actually pronounce her name right.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala. You said this
we don't call you Nancy Mace.
It's Kamala. You're doing this on purpose, Congresswoman.
That's disrespectful.
You can't expect people to respect your service if you don't respect hers.
Walked that stage 25 years ago.
You're a white woman disrespecting a black woman. That is
away from women.
Mr. Dyson, let me get in here because I want to play one.
What's really going on here? I think, honestly, it feels like a diversion tactic from the Dems. They know Kamala Harris has been flip-flopping like a fish out of the water. and stealing bits of Trump's agenda, like no tax on tips, without having one of her own. She's been at the top of the ticket for what, like 3-4 weeks now? And what's her game plan? I think it's the same old Biden agenda we've been seeing. So what do? Play their identity politics and shut down any meaningful conversation about her with cries of racism. I think that's classic. In the end, it's all about deflection for me, I think. If you can't defend her policy, just make the conversation about race. It's a cheap trick, but hey, it's politics. To conclude, I think, honestly, this whole Kamala name trap is just another distraction from the left. Instead of focusing on her policy or lack thereof, they're doubling down on identity politics to shield her from criticism. And she's been mimicking Trump's talking point while offering nothing new of her own. So I think, what do? Make it about race. Of course, it's a classic move, and unfortunately, it works more often than it should. But I thank you for listening. Please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.